What is going on, boys and girls? Yes, it has been a long time since I have done a friggin' video. Here's the thing. I moved many states away. I have a new job. I have a new place. It's just a whole new life in general. And great people in it, and I am loving every single minute of it. So with all these changes, I have so many other interests, and I'm just like, what the hell do I want to do with this channel? So I ended up looking at like all my eclectic interests, and I was like, it's all like independent stuff. I don't listen to mainstream music. I don't watch mainstream movies, and for the most part, I mean, there are obviously the big blockbusters that I do enjoy, just like everybody else. And I don't really watch mainstream TV shows. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna do indie reviews, indie music, indie games, indie movies and TV shows, and a lot of this other stuff, because there is so much content from online, from all these other sources that never get heard or reviewed. And some of the stuff, it's like, I hear it and it's like, you know, why is all the crap that is out that is quote unquote pop or mainstream or whatever you want to call it popular when there is so much more talent on this than that is being promoted? And it's really disheartening. So I want to give a light onto that kind of stuff. And this is how I do it, indie reviews. So the first thing I wanted to review, though, and the first band I wanted to review was a band that I heard back in 2009. The only bands I can really equate these guys to is A Day to Remember, old school Atreyu around like the Curse album, not so hardcore as like Suicide Notes and Butterfly Kisses, or a newer All That Remains, you know, What If I Was Nothing, kind of overlapping singing and background screaming, but they do a little more screaming. These guys fall into the post-punk and post-hardcore, obviously. Rumor has it, I heard about these guys back in 2009. I was on a site called Gemendo.com, which is Creative Commons licensed music. And I was listening to these guys, and I was like, wow, these guys are really good. The problem was, it was one song EP. And, you know, they had talked about having another one coming, you know, a full EP coming out. And they just kind of fell off the face of the planet. And we're just like, you know, just figured it was another band that fell off the face of the planet. It does happen quite frequently. So in 2000, like the beginning of this year, I was on Spotify, and I was just streaming some music, and Spotify has a mix of like some of my local music and various other stuff on some of my playlists. And what happened was the Letdown played, which is the song that I originally heard from these guys. And I was like, whatever the hell happened to these guys? So, you know, I just typed in Spotify into the rumor has it for Spotify, and it was like, bam. And I was like, come find out, in January of this year, they released their EP finally, 7 songs, which... what the hell happened to these guys? I mean, that is a long time between 2009 and 2014 to put out 7 songs. I mean, that's like Boston kind of, you know, level of releasing albums. Well, come to find out, what had happened is, I believe in an altercation in a club, their singer and their bass player were both stabbed. The singer ended up recovering from his stab wounds. The bass player, Steven, did not. So they went on hiatus, which is quite understandable given that. And actually, the cool thing is the album is actually dedicated to Steven, and it's even tagged Steven as the album. I was listening to The Letdown, and I was like, okay, that's still really good. I still really like this song. I ended up listening to some of their other tracks, and I was like, damn, this is really good too. Now, as a person who has unlimited data still, I don't buy music very much because I don't need to worry about, you know, data caps and streaming and all this other stuff. I actually bought this EP, 7 songs, and it cost me $5. I normally don't buy music. The last album I bought was in 2010 for We Are Many by All That Remains. That was the last album I actually paid money for. I didn't even buy All That Remains as a new one. And that's the band I thoroughly enjoy all their music, and I usually do buy their stuff. Just didn't this time. It was just like, meh. So, if you were a fan of the bands I've mentioned earlier, of like A Day to Remember, Atreyu around the Curse album, It Dies Today around, I want to say Damsel in Distress and Trivium, like the song Ascendancy or somewhere around there, or Dying in Your Arms tonight, Dying in Your Arms. Those are probably where these guys fall in, with obviously a little more punk vibe to them of like the Atreyu and stuff. So go get this album. Link in the description below. Go get it. Enjoy it. Promote these guys, because these guys busted their ass. These guys have gone through a lot of shit, and this is music that I really think should be the stuff that we are hearing on pop radio or mainstream radio that doesn't get the credit it deserves.
If I fall asleep